the gardens at Wentworth Woodhouse, we're constantly meeting new challenges and seeking ways of improving the experience of our visitors, with new things to see at every visit. A rectangular area of garden close to the main drive leading from the west-facing Baroque house had been known about for some time, but has only recently been investigated.
Towered over by our magnificent Yorkshire Champion sweet chestnut tree and bordered by a beech hedge, the garden was heavily overgrown, but known to contain the remains of a derelict sunken pond. A memorial to a favoured pet of the last private owner Clifford Newbold hints to the only recent activity here in the garden. It reads, "Sweep, much loved black Labrador, who was a great companion to the family and also to a pack of 11 whippets, 17th of March 2003 to the 1st of July 2010. He obviously loved chasing tennis balls."
Investigating the garden and pond with a view to reinstating it to its former glory has been a fascinating project. This area of the larger gardens at Wentworth Woodhouse has featured in maps since 1728 when it was just woodland, and no doubt it will have had different features over the centuries, including possibly a skittle garden, as suggested in this map of the 1760s. But what was its use latterly, and when was the pond added? Using periodic Ordnance Survey maps as reference points, it appears that the garden and pond were probably commissioned by Countess Maud, wife of 7th Earl Fitzwilliam and a keen gardener, sometime between 1903 and 1929. So it may not have been Edwardian as originally thought, but could have looked something like this in its heyday.
A community engagement project commissioned by Barnsley Metropolitan Borough Council was undertaken in 2019 to investigate the garden further, as Simon Gill, our Head of Heritage, explains.
Archaeological Services from Durham University worked with students and local primary and secondary schools to undertake a geophysical survey. This involved an electrical resistance survey in which a small electrical current was injected through the earth at regular points across the garden and the resistance measured. Levels of resistance are linked to moisture content in the ground. High resistance, i.e. low water content, suggests stone and brick may be present under the surface of the ground. Low resistance suggests softer ground and soil.
Results from the survey suggested several former stone paths may have crisscrossed and edged parts of the garden. The geophysical survey was a great starting point, but it wasn't until head gardener Scott painstakingly dug testing pits around the garden that the actual position of some of the pathways could be mapped and investigated. Further excavations of the area suggested that the pond was a feature garden in its own right and important to renovate.
I'm standing in front of the Sunken garden here. It sounds quite an elaborate thing, but it's actually quite a basic thing in construction. The pond was drained, first of all the sludge and debris, by gardening volunteers. To fully excavate the sunken pond, all vegetation had to be removed from the internal facing surfaces. Then all the stones lining both the vertical walls and the horizontal borders removed in sequence and stored on pallets with their sizes labelled to help with the rebuilding. Stones have been scrubbed with wire brushes to remove moss and other debris. It's been a real team effort over several weeks involving all 4 garden volunteering teams.
With the sunken pond excavated and cleared, and some historic paths uncovered, it was time for us to bring in expert Sean from Heritage Masonry Contracts to rebuild the garden features.
So we've been commissioned by Wentworth Woodhouse Preservation Trust to reinstate the sunken garden here within the gardens at the west of the house. The garden sadly has come into disrepair over the years and there's been a few collapses. So our job really is to strip down the masonry walling, reinstate the pond and put a pond liner in, and then rebuild the dry stone walls. So now I'm within the actual garden itself, or within the pond. You can see the makeup of the pond itself and its layers. Essentially we've got a dry stone wall which lined the pond. The water came up to this sort of height here, okay, and then we had a flagged area that could be walked upon before another dry stone wall. You can see in front of you that it's actually collapsed here, so we're going to have to dig this back and reinstate it, and you see the ground has shifted forward here. So before we put the pond liner in, we've got to actually shift this line back so the pond matches geometrically as to how it was before.
A modern pond liner was used to reduce water seepage. Once the pond liner was positioned along the south side vertical edge, Original stones were used to rebuild the dry stone wall to secure the liner. The liner was then rolled over the base of the pond and up the opposite wall, again with stone walling in front to secure the liner, and the process repeated at the north and south ends of the pool.
So dry stone walling is a very different type of masonry to standard masonry construction. We won't be using any mortars in here. Essentially the stones themselves are a bit of a jigsaw puzzle that we have to try and fit together to make them interlock to form a solid wall. Once we start putting the stones down and picking out the ones that suit the ones that are already down, you'll start to find that they balance themselves and lock in to create a solid wall.
Over several weeks, the stonemasons rebuilt the two-tier dry stone walls, the horizontal flagstones surrounding the pond, and the feature steps at either end. Having completed the core masonry work of the sunken pond, Sean and team moved on to tackling the exposed paths bordering and crisscrossing the garden.
So the gardeners here at Wentworth Woodhouse have exposed these lovely pathways around the sunken garden, which is just behind me to the rear. Unfortunately, the pathways have all sunk on the mud bedding they've got, so we're going to have to record these, lift them out to the sides and then relay them back exactly where they were before, making it safe for people to walk down in future.
As with initial work on the sunken pond, the stones were lifted and placed to the sides of the paths quite precisely to ensure they could be secured back in the same position. Interestingly, one of the central paths shows an intricate design with pink slabs in a diamond design edged by randomly shaped stones. This is characteristic of an arts and crafts period path, a combination of natural and handcrafted shapes. In other paths, stones are purely random in a crazy paving type design, suggesting that pathway patterns evolved at different times. Other interesting features of the garden at the eastern end include a stone trough and a large stone basin on raised ground, which was clearly once a fountain or water cascade. At the western corner under the sweet chestnut tree, there is a huge circular urn, possibly a water container or planter. The masonry works have taken longer than expected, but with these now finished, the moment of truth is filling the pond with water from water bowsers brought in specially for the job. Will the pond liner do its job, given the heavy stoneworks which have taken place over several weeks inside and around the pond basin? This renovation project has been a real collaborative effort, involving historical masonry experts, head gardener Scott and our teams of garden volunteers, as well as corporate volunteers from Minster Law in Wakefield. More recently, participants at a weekend working party organised by SPAB, the Society for the Protection of Ancient Buildings, lent a hand too.
And it has been a race against time to more or less finish the work. We wanted to be able to showcase the renovation to visitors alongside all the other amazing displays at the National RHS Flower Show being held here at Wentworth Woodhouse in July 2025. The pond has to settle before any planting can take place, and it will take some time to achieve the vision for this as an early 20th century garden. Don't forget to subscribe for free to our YouTube channel to follow progress on other innovations and developments here at Wentworth Woodhouse.